Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara, and today we're going to be looking at the fifth house. So super excited to be getting into the fifth house. It's all to do with the sign of Leo and with the sun. So what is the sun? The sun is all about your ego, your identity, who you are as a person. It's all about being seen, okay? It's the brightest star, right? So it's all about being seen. You want to be a star. It's all about the attention's on you, the focus is on you. And also what's interesting is the sun has to do with the ego, okay? So the sun sign that you have, it's all about the ego, but it's also all to do with the father. Okay, so that's really what's interesting. It's all to do with the father. So Leo as a sign basically aligns themselves with the father, or whoever played a father figure in their life, or whoever played a predominantly masculine role in their life. This is a huge thing with the sign of Leo. They're always going to align themselves with that side of the family. And what's happening is on a subconscious level, they're trying to get the approval or the attention of the father or whoever was the father figure in their life. So this is what's happening on a subconscious level. They don't even realize that they're doing this, but this is really what's going on with everything that they do, and they want to get that approval by expressing themselves creatively. People who possess a lot of Leo or fifth house energy in their chart, they're probably going to be more masculine energy in their energy field in general. Doesn't matter what gender you were born into, we all have these energies within us. They're just going to align themselves with that aspect within themselves. Okay, so this is a huge thing with the sign of Leo, and it's really, again, it's a forward momentum energy. That's really the masculine energy. It's all about putting yourself out there, being seen. It's all about speaking, communicating. Again, it's all about putting on a show. This is a huge thing with Leo. It's a huge thing with Leo. They really want to be on a stage, okay, on a stage of some sort. If they don't get a stage, they're going to create a stage for themselves, okay? So people who predominantly have a lot of Leo placements or fifth house placements are going to be interested in things like acting, for example, or Broadway or singing, whatever it is. It depends on the rest of your chart. But a lot of the time, people who are in these roles where they get to express themselves creatively are going to be looking or aligning themselves or trying to get into these roles. If they don't get the opportunity, they might create that for themselves. So they can have a YouTube channel. They could just be on any social media platform, basically in any way, shape, or form where they're able to be seen, they're able to be themselves, they're able to be who they are, right? Because again, the sun is the ego, it's the identity. So it's all about expressing who you are as a person. This is really what the fifth house is about. Now, also the fifth house has to do with children. So it's not only creativity, it's also children, which is interesting because the inner child has a lot to do with fun and play, and I'm seeing coloring, right? But it's really about expressing yourself creatively. So this is really the Leo sign. They're really in tune with that inner child. They want to be able to express themselves creatively. They want to have fun. They want to be able to play. They create a show, okay? And for them, a lot of the time, they can create a show out of their life. What's important for Leo, though, is to not create drama for yourself, okay? So if you have a lot of these placements, if you're not getting that attention and approval that you seek, okay, you might create some sort of scene or whatever it is to basically draw attention towards you. And again, a lot of the time, this could be subconscious, but this is why it's good to know our natal chart and see where we have this energy predominantly focused so we can learn to work with it. This is really what astrology is all about. It's all about figuring out what energies are there and how we can work with these energies. So this is a huge thing with Leo. Now, they might be working with children, okay? So you can do things like being a kindergarten teacher or a preschool teacher or a daycare teacher, whatever it is, where you're working directly with children, okay, in one way, shape, or form. But keeping in mind, Leo always wants to be, again, a leader of some sort, okay? So they're basically going to find themselves in these roles, again, where people are watching them, okay? So they're in this role of, again, the attention is on them in one way, shape, or form. So it could manifest as a teacher. If you're working maybe in the corporate world, and let's say you are working at an office job, again, if you have a lot of these Leo placements, you're maybe going to find a creative way to do your job, okay? You're going to find a creative way to do your job. You could do something like, again, teaching in one way, shape, or form, okay, within the role. Maybe you could be someone who's training others. Again, something where you get to express yourself. A lot of the time, Leo placements aren't going to want to be, let's say, in like a silent job. They have to talk, okay? They have to talk. They have to be, again, in a way, shape, or form, the center of attention, so they might be the best employee at the job, okay? If you're working like a 9 to 5 corporate type of job, or they might again move into roles where they are facilitating others. This is a huge thing with the Leo energy as well. This could be something that they're really interested in, again, where they get to work with a group of people, okay, and again, they are in a way, you know, above them, but it's not like they're full of themselves condescending above. It's just, again, the attention. It's the attention aspect with Leo is what they're looking for. They want the attention to be on them, so they're always going to draw attention to them. This could even be in the way that they express themselves through their clothes, okay? It could be in the way that they express themselves through their clothes. They could dress very, out there, or they could have a certain type of style that is just theirs. They could change their hairstyles often. So this is a huge thing. Leo, again, is always going to want to express themselves creatively, whether that is on a stage, whether that is on, in the way that they look. Okay, they're drawing the attention towards them. You're always going to know a Leo when you see one. A lot of the time, again, they tend to be very much like badasses in a way, right? They tend to be very like hard-headed also. Okay, this is a huge thing with Leo. They are a fixed sign. So the fixed signs can be stubborn. Okay, so Leo could be stubborn. That could be a shadow trait of Leo. They could be stubborn. They could be set in their ways. And a huge thing with Leo also is that, okay, so before I get to that, one more thing I want to mention is that, also if you have a lot of Leo placements, you could have a lot of children. Okay, so because of the fact it has to do with children, you yourself could have a lot of children. So you could work with children, have a lot of children, or get in tune with the inner child. Now, getting back to what I wanted to say is that because of the fact that the Leo is all to do with the sun and to do with the ego, the Leo might struggle with the ego throughout their life. Okay, so this is a huge thing. They basically have to learn to, the thing with the ego is I find a lot of the time the ego gets a bad rap. Everyone's like, okay, you're so full of yourself or whatever it is with the ego. But all we want to do is we want to create and develop a mature ego where the ego isn't running the show. It's not in the driver's seat. So let's say in a situation you might have too much pride. You might have, too much pride to say you want something. For example, let's say, I don't know, you would audition for a show, right? Maybe you didn't get in, but maybe they called you for another role, and maybe it's not the head role or whatever, the main role, but maybe it's like a secondary role. The ego might get in the way and be like, I want to be like the main character kind of thing, right? So, the ego is going to be like, well, I'm not even going to get into this with you because you can't recognize me for the star that I am, so I'm not even going to bother with being in your play if I'm going to be a secondary character. Like, that's just an example, but this is the huge thing with the ego. Okay, so with the Leo and the ego of the Leo. Okay, so the Leo really has to learn to work with their ego because it can cost them. Okay, it can cost them in a lot of situations. It depends where you have a lot of these Leo placements. Okay, it depends where you have a lot of these Leo placements. A lot of time, again, Leo moon emotionally, so the moon is all to do with the emotions. Emotionally, the Leo moon is always going to want to express themselves in a way, shape, or form. But again, they might struggle with that ego if they're not received in the way that they want to be received by other people. Okay, so this is a huge thing, and they are going to retract. And Leo is going to be the type, that's going to be like, well, I already put myself out there, and this person didn't, praise me in the way that I wanted to be praised. Like, they're not consciously thinking that, but that's really what it is, because they're kind of like, well, it's my show. Like, this is my show. Like, you should be like bowing down to me. Like, that's the type of energy they just carry. Okay, they just naturally carry that energy within them. People might already naturally do that to them. So if there's someone around them that's not doing that, well, they're gonna be like, okay, well, forget about you, right? And this might cost them in a lot of situations. Okay, you might lose a lot of relationships or friendships for this reason. If you have too much pride. Okay, it's ego and pride that Leo really struggles with and has to work through in general. Okay, so every single zodiac has a shadow trait that they have to work through. So this is a big one for Leo. They really have to learn to work with that ego so it doesn't get in the way of what it is that they want to do. Because if they're able to get to that place where they want to get to, where they can fully express themselves, they're going to be thriving. Okay, they're going to be thriving, and this would be a healthy Leo. Okay, a healthy expression of the sign Leo is where they are in some form of role, job, career, relationship, where they do get to express themselves. So what's interesting also is if you have Venus in Leo, okay, or Venus in the 5th house, this is going to be all to do with, again, the way you express yourself in a relationship or the type of partner you're looking for. So let's say you have Venus in Leo, you're going to be someone maybe who wants someone to look good. Okay, so it's very similar to Venus in Libra. You guys want to be able to look good together. Okay, this is a huge thing. Venus in Leo wants to show off their partner. Okay, so this is a huge thing. They're going to be interested in like flashy things, and it's like, it's not that they're materialistic, it's just who they are. Okay, it's just really who they are. They want to be able to be like, this is me, like this is what I look like this is just like, hello, like look at me, right? Like, I have all these rings, and look at my nails and whatever, right? That's just the energy of Leo. They just want to be seen, and they expect that within their partner, and they want, if they have a partner that they love, okay, it's interesting that's coming through, if they have a partner that they love. But yeah, if there was someone that they really do appreciate, they want to show that person off to the world. Okay, so this is a huge thing with Leo. So they're really showy in that way to, especially with the people that they love, whether it's a partner, whether it's a friend. They're always going to show them off. To them, they might, like to the partner themselves, they might give a lot of gifts, okay, but they expect a lot of attention. This is a huge thing with Leo. They want a lot of attention, and they want to be praised, and they want to be appreciated, okay, in a way, shape, or form. So let's say you are dating someone maybe who has Venus in Leo, or in general maybe a lot of Leo placements. They need the compliments, okay, that's what keeps them going. They need the compliments, and you know, they basically want to be acknowledged, they want to be recognized, because if they're not, then they're going to feel like they are lacking, okay, in the relationship in one way, shape, or form. It's going to hurt the ego for them, okay, because there's that ego game. It's going to hurt the ego. It's going to hurt the ego for them, and then they're going to be like, okay, well, forget you, I'm going to go find someone who does stroke my ego. So this is the thing with Leo as a sign, okay? So huge thing to look out for as a sign. And again, you know, they're going to speak what's on their mind. It's literally the lion, right? It's the lion or the lioness, okay? They roar, okay? So they do roar. So if there's something that's like not going their way, they're gonna roar, like they're gonna say to you, you know, I find Leos to be very transparent. They're gonna say everything like it is. They're gonna be very blunt. Again, it's a lot to do with the throat chakra too. It's interesting. It's solar plexus and throat. So they're gonna say what's on their mind. They're gonna speak it to you. If there's something they don't agree with, like they're gonna say it, okay? There's no guessing games with this energy. They're fire too. They're a fiery sign. There's no guessing games. It's just going to be all out there on the table, but unless their ego or pride gets in the way. So if there's a situation where it's like one of those things where it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type of energy, like if you kind of trick them or fool them in any way, shape, or form, like they're not gonna like that, okay? That's a huge thing with the energy of Leo in 5th house. They're really not going to like being tricked or deceived in any way, shape, or form, because for them, again, it's in the sense of ego. So it's like, how could I let that happen to me? Like, how could that happen to me? Like, that's that ego energy, right, with the sign of Leo. But overall, like as a sign, you know, when they are able to, you know, not allow their ego to get in the way, they're very caring, they're very playful, they're very fun. They can be very funny, okay? So Leo, especially Leo moon, can be very funny. As a sign, Leo can be very funny. They can even be comedians, okay? That could be another career or interest for people who have a lot of this Leo or 5th house energy in their chart. They could be very interested in, you know, making people laugh. Again, anything that draws the attention to them, okay? And they're naturally going to be magnets for this attention, whether they are trying to do it or not. They're just like that type, okay? So wherever they are, maybe they're in a store just shopping, you know, maybe they're going to say something funny, and like when they're looking at the clothes and everyone starts laughing, like this is just the Leo energy. They love attention. They are able to draw the attention to them, and they live for that. They live for the applause. They live for the applause. This is really the huge thing with Leo, and they need the applause, okay? That's what keeps them going, and that's kind of what gives them the fuel to continue going. And you know, let's say they're dating someone or with someone, or maybe they're working at a job, whatever it is. Let's say they're not getting that recognition that they deserve. Well, they're going to think that they're not doing what they're meant to do, that they're not satisfying maybe the job or whatever it is, and they might lose interest, okay? So let's say you have a Leo employee, or you're working with someone who has a lot of Leo energy. They need like that, the compliments, okay? The being appreciated, like that type of energy. They need to know, okay? So they love getting rewards. They love getting rewarded. They love getting gifts. They love giving gifts, but they also love getting gifts. Okay, that's a huge thing with Leo as well. They love to show people off. They love to show themselves off. So this is a huge thing with the Leo energy. This is really what it is. It's all about, I'm here. This is me. It's the sun. Okay, it's the sun. It's the sun. It's ruled by the sun. So it's like, I'm the star. This is my show, you know? And it's like, that's just the beauty of it, because it's interesting, because in a way it does come off innocent sometimes. Again, if they're not in the ego, so if you're not triggered, right? But if they're not in the ego, it's very childlike. It does tend to be very innocent with them. But again, they really want to be, again, the center of attention in any way, shape, or form that they can be. They want to have that show. Their life is a show for them. It really is. And they have to express themselves creatively. So however that manifests for you, if you have a lot of this 5th house or Leo energy, you're always going to want to be expressing yourself creatively, okay? That's a huge thing. If Leo's not able to be creative, well, then again, the sun, you know, doesn't get to be seen. So, you know, jobs, like I was mentioning earlier, jobs that require them to kind of be, you know, tucked away and working like in a corner somewhere where people don't see them, they're not going to be interested in jobs like this. They're not going to be interested in jobs like this, or whatever, partnerships or whatever it is. They need to be seen. They need to be seen, and it's just the natural energy of the Leo, and they're always going to find their way to that, okay? So they're always going to find their way to the stage by creating some form of energy of a stage for themselves. So I'm going to wrap up this video on Leo right here. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. You guys can let me know in the comments below, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.